Click on it to open up, and this is the view you should get. You'll notice that from the beginning you have your projects list on the left in this quick view bar. Yours will probably be blank, or yours will be blank, and it'll say my first project or something like that here. Notice that you can also make projects, and within projects you can have files. To get rid of this for the short term, you can always click this X box here to close this data panel. This will give you more room to work. This is the basic workspace for Fusion. Note that your saving and data panel options are still always at the top. Below that is your toolbar. It should look like this for most of your design time. If it ever doesn't look like this, you can right-click in here and say Reset Panel Customization to bring it back to the normal view. Next thing to note is that there is a grid, and that the grid is in millimeters by default. You can change that in the settings, but for most of our projects we'll be working in millimeters. In the top right hand corner is what we call the view cube. The view cube can be clicked and moved around in order to change the view of the space. You can also click on any one of the angles or sides or surfaces of the view cube in order to get that view. Notice if I click on top, the view changes so that I am now looking straight down on my design. If I ever want to go back to that home view, the original isometric view, I can click on the home icon to get that view back. You are now ready to create your first sketch in Fusion. Every 3D design starts with a sketch first. Let's make a sample one now. In the toolbar, click on Create Sketch. Notice that when you hover over any area, it'll give you a little tooltip to tell you what that tool does. This is a really handy way to learn the tools in a very quick succession. So I'm going to click on Create Sketch, and then it asks me which plane do I want to put my sketch on. By default, Fusion starts with 3 planes. This is the XZ plane, as you can see from the view cube, X and Z. This view is the YX plane, and this plane is the YZ plane. For most of our designs, we're probably going to want to start with the XZ plane in order to keep things simple and keep our home view the way we're expecting to see it. So this means I will be drawing on the XZ, and my view cube, when I click here, will rotate to show me the top-down view, and I'll be making my first sketch there. Okay. From here, notice that the tool options change, and I'll have some simple options here. We'll go into some more of those in a minute, but let's start with a simple 2-point rectangle to start. I'm going to put my first point at 0, 0, 0, or the 0, 0 point on this 2D view. Notice that 0, 0, 0 is called the origin. That's where everything starts. So, if I click once on the origin and then come out a certain distance and click again, I will make a box. Before I click the second time, I can adjust that any way I want. And notice that the vertical dimension here is highlighted blue. So if I wanted to, instead of moving my mouse around, if I wanted to actually type and say make this 20 mm tall, then hit Tab to the other one and say make it 42 mm wide and hit Enter, it'll make that the exact size that I want. I can always come back to these and double click and change them to make them whatever I want. 22.34 millimeters. Fusion is incredibly accurate. That's it for this lesson. You now know how to create your first sketch, how to use simple drawing tools, and how to adjust the dimensions. Good work.